The fire lit the sky like a second sunrise. Arav Khan saw it through his cracked windshield as he waited at the red light, his daughter asleep in the back seat, her small chest rising and falling softly. The city had been unusually quiet that night, too quiet, until the explosion ripped through the air and shook his car like an angry hand. Arav's heart slammed against his ribs. Flames climbed the glass tower ahead, devouring floor after floor. Smoke twisted upward like a living thing, dark and suffocating. People poured into the streets screaming, pointing, running. Fire! Fire! Someone shouted. Arav twisted in his seat, checking on Ayla. She stirred but didn't wake. He brushed her hair from her forehead with shaking fingers. Stay asleep, Jan, he whispered. He was a single father. Every decision he made began and ended with her. Risk was a luxury he couldn't afford anymore. But then he heard it. There's someone still inside. The words cut through him. Arav stared at the burning building, Helix Corporation headquarters. He knew the name. Everyone did. Power, money, untouchable people behind those walls. And someone was trapped inside. He looked back at his daughter. Looked at the fire again. And made the choice that would ruin his quiet life forever. The heat punched him the moment he ran inside. Smoke flooded his lungs, sharp and bitter. The polished marble floors were already cracking under the strain. Sprinklers rained useless water, hissing as it hit the flames. Hello? Arav shouted, his voice hoarse. No answer. He moved deeper, pulling his shirt over his nose. A fallen security guard lay near the stairs. Arav dragged him outside, ignoring the burn on his arm, then turned back again. Someone was still inside. The stairwell was chaos, fire licking the walls, alarms screaming. Arav ran upward, legs burning, heart pounding harder with every step. On the 12th floor, he heard a sound that stopped him cold. A woman crying, "Please, help." The voice was weak, cracking under fear. Arav followed it into a corner office where glass had shattered and flames danced along the curtains. A massive beam had collapsed, pinning a woman beneath it. Blood streaked her temple. Her designer suit was torn, blackened with soot. Even through the smoke, he recognized her. Maya Sterling, CEO of Helix Corp. The woman business magazines called ruthless. Untouchable. Cold. Right now, she was none of those things. She was terrified. I can't move, she whispered. Please. Arav dropped to his knees beside her. I'm here, he said firmly. You're not alone. Her eyes locked onto his, sharp even in pain. You shouldn't be here. Too late for that, he replied. The beam was impossibly heavy. His muscles screamed as he lifted with everything he had. His vision blurred. Maya cried out as the pressure shifted. The ceiling groaned. Go, she yelled. Leave me. Arav shook his head. Not happening. With one final push, the beam rolled just enough. He dragged her free, pulling her against his chest. The fire roared louder, furious. They ran. They burst out of the building seconds before the windows exploded outward. Arav collapsed on the pavement, gasping, Maya still in his arms. Sirens wailed now, too late, but coming. Paramedics rushed in, pulling her away. As they lifted her onto the stretcher, Maya reached for him, her fingers brushing his soot-covered hand. Why? She whispered. Arav didn't answer. He watched the ambulance doors close, her eyes never leaving his. 3 days later, Arav was back to making breakfast and tying shoelaces. The news called him a hero. He didn't feel like one. Heroes didn't wake up from nightmares smelling smoke. Heroes didn't flinch every time their child coughed. Ayla sat at the table swinging her legs. Abba, why? Were you on TV? He forced a smile. Because I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. She giggled. You're brave. Arav looked away. Bravery hadn't saved his wife. The black car arrived that evening. Too expensive for his neighborhood. Too quiet. A man in a tailored suit knocked on his door. Mr. Khan, he said politely. Ms. Sterling would like to see you. Arav felt something tighten in his chest. The hospital room was silent when he entered. Maya lay pale against white sheets, bandaged but alert. When she saw him, she dismissed everyone else with a single look. You saved my life, she said. Arav nodded. I heard you wanted to talk. She swallowed. I owe you the truth. His instinct screamed. The fire, she said quietly. It wasn't an accident. Arav's breath caught. Her voice broke as she whispered the words that changed everything. Arav didn't respond right away. Maya Sterling's confession hung in the hospital room like smoke that refused to clear. I started it. 4 words, quiet, devastating, and heavy enough to crush a man who had just risked his life to save hers. He stood near the door, arms crossed, as if distance alone could protect him from the truth. You could have killed dozens of people, he finally said. Maya closed her eyes. I know. Her voice wasn't defensive. It wasn't proud. It was hollow. Arav let out a slow breath. Then why tell me? She looked at him then, really looked at him. Because you ran into the fire without knowing who I was. Because you saved me before I could decide whether I deserved saving. That answer unsettled him more than anger would have. That night, Arav returned home carrying more than smoke in his lungs. Ayla was asleep, her small hand curled around her stuffed rabbit. He sat beside her bed longer than usual, watching her breathe, grounding himself in the simple truth of her existence. I can't afford secrets, he thought. I can't afford danger. Yet Maya's face haunted him, not the powerful CEO, but the broken woman under the beam, whispering please. Maya Sterling had built her empire on control. But lying in the hospital, stripped of power and guarded silence, she felt like a child who had burned her own house down just to feel warm for a moment. The fire was never about destruction. It was about shame. Helix Corp had been built by her father, a brilliant man the world adored. After his death, Maya had discovered the rot underneath, illegal contracts, exploitation hidden behind innovation. Every board meeting felt like standing on a lie. Burning the evidence felt easier than carrying it. But now, there was Arav Khan. A man who had nothing to gain from saving her. Days passed. Arav tried to refuse further contact, but Helix Corp lawyers appeared. Security arrangements were suggested. His name became a liability. Maya requested one more meeting. This is the last time, Arav said, standing at the foot of her bed. She nodded. I won't keep you trapped. They spoke quietly, about the investigation, the risks, the people who would do anything to keep the truth buried. You're in danger just knowing this, she admitted. Arav laughed bitterly. I was in danger the moment I walked into that fire. She hesitated. Why did you do it? He didn't answer right away. My wife died because no one came fast enough, he finally said. I couldn't leave another child without a parent. Maya's eyes filled with tears. For the first time, shame wasn't something she hid from. Ayla met Maya Sterling a week later. Is she the fire lady? Ayla asked bluntly. Arav froze. Maya crouched down, wincing slightly. Yes, she said softly. And your dad is very brave. Ayla smiled proudly and hugged Arav's leg. Something in Maya cracked. That night, she cried, not for Helix, not for power, but for the life she had never learned how to build without burning it first. But danger doesn't wait for healing. Arav began noticing things, cars parked too long outside his building, phone calls that went silent when answered. Someone wanted Maya quiet. Someone wanted Arav gone. You need protection, Maya insisted. I need honesty, he replied. She nodded. Then let me earn it.